and welcome to another edition of Lab Rats. My name is Andy Walker.
I'm Sean Carruthers.
And this is a show where we demystify technology, all those geeky terms. And boy, today, do we have a geeky term for you. Sounds a bit like a movie title, but it's actually a brand new technology about moving data through a computer. And it's called?
Thunderbolt! It's like a James Bond movie.
That's right, Thunderbolt.
Thunderbolt.
This is a new term, a piece of jargon around the technology.
Kind of, yeah. It's the new branding for something that we used to know a short while back as Light Peak.
Light Peak. Okay,
Yes.
That doesn't help.
It doesn't help.
No. Okay.
Well, we'll talk about this.
We'll talk about this. We'll explain what Thunderbolt, formerly known as Light Peak, is after this. Welcome back to Lab Rats. So before we get started, a little message from our sponsor, Hover.com. Of course, a great place to buy domains and do more with them. Brand new breaking news from these guys. They have a brand new interface, so it's much easier to manage your domains, to buy a domain, to manage your email address, all those things. Been very impressed myself. Before it was cool, but difficult to do some tasks. Now it's easy.
Yeah, just one quick glance at this list of your domains, and you'll see the status of every single one of them just by looking. Just whoosh.
There you go, easy peasy. And even if it's not easy enough for you just by looking at it, you can actually pick up the phone and call them. They won't even leave you on hold at all. They'll just answer it on the first ring, and you can ask a real human who speaks, North American English to help you out. So really, if you want help with your domains, you want to use it easily, if you want to get help simply and no hassle, then Hover.com is the place to go. So zip on over there, and here's a coupon for you to get started right now.
Awesome.
Okay, good. So this new James Bond technology you speak of.
Thunderbolt.
So Thunderbolt, of course, was like a Sean Connery James Bond movie, right?
Yes, Thunderball. Original.
Thunderball,
yes.
not Thunderbolt. Okay.
Yes.
Good. So what's Thunderbolt then?
Thunderbolt is very fast data. And as I mentioned before the break, it's based on something that used to be called Light Peak. And this was an Intel technology that they were crowing about in 2010, saying it's coming. Finally hit the market in 2011, first of all in Apple devices as Thunderbolt. At the same time, that's when Intel rebranded it. Now, it was called Light Peak initially because it's based on optical technology. So most of the other connective technologies that we use, like USB and all that, just send electrons down a wire. It's all wire-based. Optical uses little pulses of light to send things back and forth, a lot faster. Fiber optic cables are known for the incredible amounts of data you can pump down them.
Yeah, so it flickers light through a glass cable, and it reads the light, and data moves at the speed of light, I guess.
Yep, exactly. So they're fast, and they have really high capacity. And so Intel thought, why don't we take optical technology and integrate it into more consumer technology? So we've got Thunderbolt now because of this. So essentially, we've got cables that will transfer either via optical, which is what we're talking about, the little bits of light, or you can have you can convert it into electrical as well. So you have the choice as part of the specification, but the optical is really the cool part of this. Send a lot of information really fast.
So Thunderbolt is a protocol.
It's a protocol.
Right, and it's a design. If you want to design a wire and move data very fast, it's what you would implement as a standard to do that. But you can move over copper using electrical.
Yeah, you can convert it into that as well.
Or you can use using optical, fiber optic technology.
Right. So you think about it as, say, like USB or FireWire. It's that type of protocol, and it can be sent down the wire in electrical way. It can accommodate that, but it also has the optical on board to make it even faster. So
good. So if the world was full of Thunderbolt tomorrow, would that mean that USB would be gone?
Nope.
No. What about FireWire?
Probably not. Not yet.
Okay, so what's the point in Thunderbolt?
Well, here's the thing.
Is this a technology that we don't need?
Now, I think we're going to need it down the road. Obviously, it'll be up to the market to determine whether or not this is worthwhile.
Well, that's it for Lab Rats. Thank you so much for... No.
Yeah. So, I mean, look at when USB first came out. We were still using parallel and serial connectors. When FireWire 800 came out, people were still using the old version of it. So as we introduce these new technologies in, the old ones still hang around for a little bit. Just because USB 3 is out doesn't mean that the majority of devices aren't still USB 2 out there, right? So it'll take a while for this to be integrated or adopted to find out whether the market actually wants it.
But it will sort of sit nicely in some sort of application that is already being used by USB 3 or by FireWire, except it's much faster. Is that the idea?
Yeah, in theory. So if you're transferring your data using your Windows, moving from one to the other using the Windows Explorer, or whether you're using Finder in here, you're just transferring it over. It'll just go over that instead. You don't need to do anything special as long as it's installed in your device. It just sees it as a connection between the devices.
Okay. Okay.
So.
So why would then I buy a Thunderbolt-enabled device?
Very fast connections. So
Oh, fast.
Yeah.
Fast is the operative word here.
Fast is the operative word.
USB 3, fast than FireWire?
Yeah, so FireWire right now tops out at 800 megabits per second, or 0.8 gigabits per second. USB 3, in theory, tops out at 5 gigabits per second, although you're not probably going to see that, and under most circumstances it'll be less than that, as we've always found with USB. This Thunderbolt goes up to 10 gigabits per second, and that is obviously double the theoretical capacity of USB. And again, you're probably not going to see that in a lot of your applications. Are you going to be able to transfer to your diskette a full 10 gigabits per second? Maybe not. But here's the one thing about it that is of interest and why this becomes more useful down the road than just, say, a USB connection. Part of the specification with Thunderbolt is video as well. So rather than just streaming data straight over there, it also is supposed to support HDMI video, which means you can also hook up a monitor through Thunderbolt. So we have right here the connector here for Thunderbolt. And this is a cable that uses the optical technology. It's very high-end. They're very expensive cables at the moment because of that, $50 each.
100 if Monster sells them.
100 or 150 if Monster sells them. But they're also firmware upgradable, so they have little controllers on board the cable themselves, so you can upgrade the cables if you need to. But anyways, if you're looking at this right here, you might recognize that particular connector as the same one that you'll see on DisplayPort, which has been on some monitors on Macintoshes and all that for a while. So they've done that very specifically on purpose so that DisplayPort and Thunderbolt are cross-compatible. To an extent, so we'll get into the details there. So you can plug this into your DisplayPort connection on here as long as it's a Thunderbolt ready thing, and then you can plug DisplayPort things into your Thunderbolts. So
okay, so if I had a Thunderbolt drive, I could plug that into my monitor to connect it to my computer, or I could connect my monitor into my hard drive that's connected to my...
In fact, why don't we do that right now?
Just show me.
Okay, so we're going to plug this in to the back. So we've got on the back here.
So what is this, by the way?
This is the Pegasus R6. It's a RAID controller with 6 drives in here. And this is from our friends at Promise Technology. So this is one of the first things we've seen on there. So we've got 2 ports in here, and this is one of the things about these devices that are coming out is they have to have a throughput. They're daisy chainable. So you can connect one directly to the other, and in fact, you can connect your drive to the notebook like we have right now, and then connect this monitor here, and we've got the old DisplayPort connector here, which you're familiar with from before. Plug that in here to the back of the drive, make sure it's oriented the right way, and then fairly soon, you'll notice that the monitor kicks in. So we don't have much going on there right now, but you can see I can drag things over to here. So now this is coming through my hard drive.
This isn't plugged into a video card then. This is plugged into your hard drive array, which is plugged into your laptop.
Right. So my notebook has Thunderbolt on it. Plug it into the Thunderbolt-enabled hard drive, and then the DisplayPort can plug into this Thunderbolt controller and then loop back through to here. And this is why Thunderbolt is interesting, is you can actually be transferring a whole pile of information to the drive, but still have your video signal coming through at the same time without any impact. If you try doing that with something like FireWire 800, it's not going to happen. First of all, you can't even connect it via that. But
so you could be doing a backup from here, and it's going over this one long, skinny wire here.
So this wire right here.
And so what's handling that is both. So through that wire is both the visual stuff from the monitor as well as your backup
as
data.
the data. Yeah.
Wow.
So
cool.
That's why it's interesting.
Simplification of data throughput.
Right. So in the past, when you have a device, you've got like a notebook, or you've got a computer, you've got your video out, you've got your USB, maybe you got your FireWire, Now you can chain them all through one port on the
One
back,
wire.
or you have like two small little display ports, which are tiny little connectors. So instead of having a whole pile of connectors on the back that are bigger or smaller, you can chain them all through one tiny little connector.
Cable simplification.
Cable simplification and data simplification. It's all data, and it's all going through one cable now, theoretically.
Now, did you run an analysis of USB versus Thunderbolt versus, say, FireWire 800?
Yeah, so we took a look at a few bits of data here. So we did it in two passes here. So first we took one single 2 gigabyte data file. It was a high definition movie that we transferred to these 3 devices. So the USB 2, which is something that most people will be familiar with, it took 1 minute and 19 seconds to transfer this 2 gigabyte file over. So that would be 79 seconds. FireWire 800, which you remember from the past as well, is 32 seconds. So a big speed improvement there. When we go to Thunderbolt, 25 seconds. So that cut that down a little bit further, although not really much further than...
It's incremental. It's almost not worth it.
Right. At that point, it doesn't seem worth it because you're only gaining a few seconds. Now, again, we did this in another pass, 50 gigabytes of data in smaller chunks. So rather than one gigantic chunk where you could build up a head of stream, so to speak, and get all that data through in one chunk, this is just stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. Okay, so USB 2, in this case, took 30 minutes to do 50 gigabytes. That's a bit of an investment. FireWire 800 was 15 minutes, which was speeding it up fairly substantially. It was 50 minutes and 36 seconds. Thunderbolt cut that down to 10 minutes. So this is where you start to notice the differences in a lot of data over time and with smaller chunks. Now, it's also worth noting that while you're doing that, you can also be transferring video through it as well. Now,
At the same time.
Right. So you might be still saying, okay, it should be a lot faster than that, theoretically, when you're looking at the numbers. Why is it not faster? One of the bits of information that I learned from talking to one of my contacts in the industry is we're actually hitting a point right now with this where we're running into problems with the drives themselves. So hard drive technology is a physical medium. It can only go so fast. And we're running into the limits of that. So we've got interfaces now that are outperforming the ability of the drives to write fast enough. So we will have to wait probably until we have drives that can write faster. With mechanical drives, I'm not sure how much faster that's going to be, or flash memory that can be written a whole lot faster as well without costing $1 trillion.
So you're saying that when the hard drive speed, like the read-write speed improves, then we're going to have, when it catches up to Thunderbolt, then we're going to be in the situation.
Yeah, in
where
terms
it's
of
gonna be more efficient.
Yeah, in terms of raw ability to save data to one particular unit.
Right.
So the numbers that we saw in this test are only part of the equation. So it's worth remembering we're writing from one device to one device in this. Now, what's not taken into account there is the fact that you can be writing from this one device to this other device and still be pushing video over to your monitor. You can be pushing through to multiple different Thunderbolt devices at the same time. So you can be backing up from this machine to like 4 different drives and then dispersing those drives around the department, right?
Expanded capacity. It's almost like then it's like a 4-lane highway with like semi-trucks coming, going across it, right? But I guess the shortfall here is going down when you get off the on-ramp. The thing that's unloading the truck into the warehouse is just too slow to keep up with the volume.
Right.
So you need a faster forklift.
You need a faster forklift.
Right.
So
that makes sense.
It's a technology that has a lot of potential, and if you're running multiple drives or multiple devices that are streaming the data back and forth, then you'll start to see the benefit more than just streaming to one specific drive.
I got it. Very cool. Very cool. That's good. Okay, so it's not a complete bust, but I guess one of the technologies is still evolving, and the applications are still to be seen in whatever products that ship.
Yeah, and there's the problem right there. You know how many products we've seen? This one.
One. Okay.
One. So we've been talking about Thunderbolt for a while now. When Macintosh first started pushing them into these new Macintoshes, and up until this point, we haven't seen a whole lot of devices. In fact, like I said, we've heard rumors that LaCie is putting one out, and as we tape this, there will be one coming in a couple weeks called the Little Big Disc. We've heard rumors that other manufacturers are working on it, but the truth of the matter is they've run into a few issues with this in terms of cost, I believe, and in terms of size of the drives. because when you create one of these things, you have to put in that controller for video on board as well. It's part of the spec. You cannot not have it. So when you're thinking of the usual hard drives that you see from the manufacturers, you've got some pretty compact drives, and they're getting pretty cheap. When you add that video controller into every single one of them, it's going to bulk it up a little bit and cost a little bit extra to throw that in there.
I got it.
When you're looking at a drive like this, which is $1,500 and a big box like this, you're not too concerned about an extra small cost for the video controller and the extra size that it'll add. It's already reasonably big.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about a small portable drive, well, that becomes an issue.
Right, got it. All right, well, we'll talk more about its future after this break. So let's break for the moment, and when we come back, the future of Thunderbolt and its competitors. And welcome back to Lab Rats. So I have to ask, so is there any point to Thunderbolt? I mean, is there a future here?
I think so.
Yeah.
Now, we're not going to displace USB anytime soon, I think. It's going to continue to be in other computers. Thunderbolt right now exists largely in Apple machines. It'll start to appear in other devices in the Windows universe, most likely. It'll be a slow build. So we've been talking about USB 3 for 3 years now, right? And it started getting some attention 2 years ago at CES, and this year we're still only seeing USB 3 devices coming out.
Yeah.
It's going to be a slow adoption curve if it gets picked up. But I mean, it's an Intel technology. It's really fast. It's really flexible. I think there is definitely some potential in this to actually catch on.
Cool. Okay, well, there you go. There's everything you need to know about Thunderbolt, at least for the time being, until such time as everybody else catches up around it. Okay, well, in the meantime, if you are excited about USB 3, then let's have a look at a clip of the week. It's a Seagate drive that we looked at on, was it Gadget TV, Paul?
Yes.
Gadget TV, I think Andrew Moore-Crispin had a look at this, and it's USB 3 compatible.
Yes.
So let's have a look.
Welcome on deck. I'm Matt Harris.
Hi, I'm Jay Goldman.
Welcome to the A-List. Hi, welcome to Miss Download.
So this whole portion here is removable. So we can pull that out. Now you can see we have basically serial ATA and power connector here, just like you'd find in a standard laptop drive, which you can see here. So it's pretty much the, well, not even pretty much, it's the same connector. And what we can do, though, is we can take different connection methods. So this is the USB 3.0 one that comes with the drive. The drive is $100 with this USB 3.0 connection, and it's a 320 gigabyte drive.
If you'd like to see the entire clip of that Gadget TV episode, zip on over to butterscotch.com and use this URL here on the screen to do that. And that's that. Very exciting. So now it's picture time, picture time.
It is picture time.
Picture time, picture time. Okay, how many pictures do we have this week, Mr.
We
Carruthers?
have one for you, and we were talking about the new iMacs that have Thunderbolt on board.
Yes.
I suspect this might be one of them from our friend Andrew,
Okay.
who got himself a new 24-inch iMac.
Wow.
And he mentioned that he had sent in an XPS photograph before,
Uh-huh.
like of his old Dell XPS system, which he sold for parts
Uh-huh.
in order to buy this,
Really? So for parts.
apparently. It might have died. I don't know. Maybe there were only a few parts that were left that were still working.
They made of gold or something?
I don't think it paid for the entire
Just a
iMac.
piece of it. Okay, got
Just
it.
a piece of it.
I got it, okay.
But anyways, this is Andrew's new iMac, and
Nice
he appears
setup.
to be loving it.
Very gorgeous. Yeah, very nice. Good work. And good to see Lab Rats on the. I should do that again because that was kind of cool. Went from the logo on the screen to the logo. Ooh.
Oh, one thing that
So clever.
he mentioned, he was proud about this, and I think it's a good lesson for everyone.
Yeah.
He actually, when he bought this, he didn't max it out on RAM. He actually went to Crucial.com and bought 12 gigabytes of RAM and installed it himself.
Good man.
So there you go.
Save some money.
Do it
Don't let those
yourself.
Apple fiends take all of your hard-earned cash.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, awesome. So if you want to send your pictures of your brand new iMacs or whatever it is you buy that really makes you excited, email us at.
Don't be a doctor, no. Get yourself some Thunderbolt at labrats.tv.
It's an excellent effort. I got to say, A for effort on that one.
Yes, and I was trying to work Moonraker in there as well. It just wasn't working.
Next time, next time. Of course, more simply, you could email.
Feedback at labrats.tv.
Send us pictures
Yeah.
of your tech gear and your pets and your mom and your whatever it is you want to show the Lab Rats audience out there in Lab Rats land.
And your $50 Thunderbolt cables.
Yes, or 100 from Monster.
Yes.
There you go.
Gold plated.
Gold plated,
Yeah,
exactly.
Cleanest digital signal around.
gorgeous. All right. Thanks so much for pushing play this week. You know, it would be foolish for us to be here with our Thunderbolt technology if you weren't out there with all of those pictures of your mom in a canoe falling in the water and video as well. My name is Andy Walker.
Sean Carruthers.
We'll see you next time.
Are you ready?